Hello, it's Andy Graham of the Ask Andy Show. I'm in Vilcabamba, Ecuador, South America, and I thought I'd try to get some plants in the background today because they might be your house plants at home in the United States, but they're actually growing wild here. I found some ferns the other day that my mom keeps making me when I was home, made me hang up, and on the thing they're hanging all over. They're growing around here. And she makes me hang them up outside on her porch and water them, but bring them in when it gets cold, right? But they're here. Okay, today's question, I answer global questions, and it's the Ask Andy Show. Okay, Bob D., I think he's from Ann Arbor, Michigan. He calls himself Bob the Squid. Says, hey, Andy, you probably walk more than 99% of the people in the developed world. Do you feel that that's a sufficient amount of exercise? In an older video, you mentioned you use water bottles as weights. Is that something you have a routine for? Have you ever tried things that don't require equipment? Like yoga or calisthenics? Okay, I'll try to break this down. Very good question, Bob. Exercise. I worked out in the United States for almost, 16 plus years at least. Every day of the week I'd go to the gym, and it was, like at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5:30 I'd pull into the gym and work out for an hour, go through the weights and walk on the treadmill for, 20 minutes or a half hour, sometimes an hour, or the bike or the stair stepper or whatever you call these things. Try to get some aerobic stuff going. One of the big things I had problem with when I left the United States is that there is no ability to be consistently exercising in every place I go. And yeah, I was trying to go to the health club down the street there, and the guy's got a sign on the door, yo regreso más tarde or something, llámame. And it's so far I've walked by it 3 times, and it's only been open 1 time, right? They're not understanding that we like to be very consistent when you work out. The best way to work out in the United States is to work out every day at the same time, like happy hour, right? Have some friends there, you go see them, you talk, you work out, you look at the girls doing their aerobics. It's kind of invigorating. Okay, but I probably walk 99% more than most people in the developed world. Bob says there's 25 countries in the developed world, and I say there's 50. I'm just being nice, I suppose. But there's about 200 countries that are just normal countries. So really the developed planet is overdeveloped. And one of the things we also, I was laughing, let's go through this. I do walk a lot. I kind of take walk breaks about 5 or 6 a day here. I'm pretty bored actually here, so I take a lot of walk breaks, walking all over the city, and I keep exploring. I'm almost ran out of the city. I think I've known, the city's really small. It's like 9 blocks square, 9 blocks by 9 blocks square, and they're short blocks. They're not really long blocks, so it's a very small city. And then there's another burg up the village, up the street that's part of this village, but it's like another section that's up higher away, and it's quite a ways. Okay, but so I'm walking a lot. And do you feel like that's a sufficient amount of exercise? No. I guess my gut answer is no. And the problem is on the muscle tone on the upper body and the deltoids and the shoulders and the abs are not. So I got a lot of maybe leg muscles, but I'm not really getting high aerobic. But technically, I'm getting kind of a lot of aerobic here because it's at 5,000 feet above the sea level, right? So the elevation's high. So the first couple of weeks was pretty hard breathing, and there's not a flat place in the city, so I'm really getting some pretty good aerobic walking. But do I get it all the time? No. And this is actually one of the cities where you could run up and down hills, I suppose, and there's not a flat spot. You can run downhill, but it's really hard to walk up and down these streets. I mean, there's some good streets here for running. So if you're a runner, you could run here because there's not much traffic. most of the places I'm on the planet you can't run because the traffic is just way too dangerous. Bicycles are incredibly dangerous because they compete with the traffic and it just becomes too dangerous. But this is a city, very small. It's like my hometown in Orland. You can ride your bike around, you can run around the thing. So it's a really a very good place for people that just want to get some fresh air and walk or run. On the other side, you have to be able to run up hills. Okay. Eventually, I'm going to show a video showing you the difference in elevation between one end. I think it's almost. I'm not going to guess right now, but from one end of the village to the other end of the village, it's quite a drop. I'm pretty sure. Is it enough exercise? No. So I do lift bottles. I'll lift bottles, and I'll do this, and I'll do this, and I'll do these things to get the lats back here. And I try to keep the muscle tone up so that you do it. I also, you know, make sure that I bend over to tie my shoes, I bend over to wash my feet, I bend over to stuff. And I do a lot of things that we could conveniently avoid doing if we want to, but or we shouldn't avoid doing, but we do. But I pick up things off the floor. I actually, in my mother's house, I was using a dip shower, and I had to do a deep knee bend. I often do, you know, 20, 30 deep knee bends, and in my shower, because I'm taking a dip shower and I do a deep knee bend, put the water on my head. Here I got a really good shower, so I don't have to do that. But I also have some other things I do. I got a stretch band thing. It's an elastic cord, like a, what do you call it? It's like a bungee cord, that bungee cord stuff. But I got a big piece of that material. I'm actually going to sell them on the website soon because it's such a small, convenient thing to carry, and you can wrap it around the leg of the bed and stuff. Okay, is that something? Routine. Okay, that is a major problem on working out. He wants to know, is that something you have a routine for? It's a very big Americanism to have a routine. My friend Bob walks around the city, he says, for, I don't know, 90 minutes every morning. I think he's exaggerating a little, but he does do these long walks, okay, in the morning. I'm out every morning, so I'm always wondering where he's at. But maybe he's walking up that way. Who knows? But I don't try to have routines in the sense that something I think I should do or I want to do or I ought to do. Mainly I get enough walking without needing to tell myself to go walking. People tell me to go trekking or something for exercise, and I said, are you crazy? I walk about 15 miles a day anyway. I'm not going to go walk longer. And I don't want any routines. That's part of the American dream, the American rat trap. I do things what I want to do, and I would like to go to this gym, maybe work out in the thing, and mainly because it's sociable. And I would like to go into a gym. The normal problem in most of the places outside the United States is they're just for meatheads, guys bulking out, and there's no women. Now there is a calisthenics, there's an aerobics place over here. It's every night, but I really can't do aerobics because I broke my leg and my femur, and it's really, I'm a little awkward on that stuff, and it's kind of intimidating when it's all women, so I'm not very good at that. Have you ever tried things that don't require equipment like yoga or calisthenics? I never tried yoga because, well, that's not true. I did yoga one time in India one time because this Canadian guy said it was a great way to meet women. He was 100% correct. Okay. Although I think the India guy was hitting on me more than the India instructor was hitting on me more than the girls. So I didn't go to that one. That was in Hampi, India. And you know, because these Indian guys, they get kind of overwhelmed when they see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy. It's kind of a gender confusion. Okay, but you know, they're really more in love with the love of a man than a woman. Women are more like in India are more like possessions than they are actually wives. So I don't do anything regular because that is not the life I choose. I choose to have a very spontaneous life, and it's like Bob. He's out walking every morning, and so he's not available then. Then he's got something else he's got to do in the afternoon, and he's got all these routines, right? And that is what I refuse to do. I refuse to have any kind of daily routines. But I do something else to have this, is that I don't take the easy way out. Like I got my room on the 2nd floor. I have to walk up and down this thing. I was in my mom's house walking up and down the steps. I was laughing at my sisters. They said, "Oh, you so much exercising walking up and down these steps." And I go, "Geez, I only do it 20 times a day." But I often try to rent rooms on the 2nd or 3rd floor, not only for the view, but for the fact that it gives me exercise. There's all these ways we can circumvent this. And then the minute you get in your car, think about it. Could you have walked? And if you take the easy way out, you just avoided the serendipitous exercise. And I haven't taken a taxi since I got into town. I also have my backpack weighs 58 kilos, so that's like 28 kilos, so that's like 65 pounds, okay? So it's pretty heavy bulking that around. But I get a lot more exercise than the average person. I'm not sure. I mean, is it natural to run? Is that a natural? I kind of rely on the idea of what a Stone Age man would do, and I'm not sure that you actually need to. You do need to raise. It does help to raise your heartbeat, but that means, like yesterday, I carried my 3 kilos, 6 pounds, 10 pounds of clothing down the street, walked all the way over there. I always got my backpack on. I'm always lugging stuff around, and do it. Obviously, I want to keep the arteries open and stuff, but generally, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't do any hallucinogenics. I've actually stopped sugar. I've stopped coffee now. I've almost done that for a month. And on the 18th of this month, it'll be a month of no sugar and coffee. And I don't really have any vices, right? So I'm vice-free. But is it enough? No. But the best way, I think, to exercise is to do things like, I can tell you one of the best ways I think you can exercise. Just get a couple bottles of water or gallon jugs. I had gallon jugs in America because we had these water jugs with the gallon jugs. And when you're waiting for the 3 minutes for your popcorn to pop in the microwave, lift them. When you're in the toilet, sit there and lift them. Just put them all over your house in convenient places and lift them. And then instead of, if the walk is less than, a half mile, make the walk. Don't take the car. Because eventually you'll lose the ability to walk. And that's I would refuse. People want me to think about buying cars in all these countries I go to, and I said, why would I take my life and make it so it'd be just like going back in America and having the same problem. I want this live abroad lifestyle. And so but it's a very good question. But there's a lot of things you can do in your room, like calisthenics. I probably do calisthenics in my room. I do leg raises and I do stretches. I'm often laying on my back and lifting my pelvic area up to stretch out the lower back. And I do a lot of stuff like this. But I don't do them in any organized. I don't really. Okay, if you want to get old, go exercise with a bunch of old people. If you want to stay young, be a 58-year-old guy and go to the gym with a bunch of 24-year-olds. That's how to stay young. Okay, Andy Graham, Hobo Traveler, answering your question.